What's happening, Bulls? Happy Thursday. If you're low on time and you want to catch up on the crypto market, a bit of fundamentals, a bit of technical analysis, all the news, all the shit that you don't understand, that I'm just going to package for you in a nice presentation, so we can just go through a couple of things that's happened over the last 24 hours, overnight, and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll look at a couple of charts. I'm looking for trades at the moment. There's a lot of money to be made in the crypto market, so we'll go through that together. Obviously, just rushing through it, so speaking fast if you can't. I don't speak fast, you just listen slow, all right? So let's do it together. And first thing, we'll start with the news. And if you're not interested in charts for whatever reason beyond me, then you can just tap out after you get updated with what's going on in crypto over the last 24 hours, plus a couple of extra things as well, because it's all happening, I promise you that. First off, we're going to have a look here. We've got Old Mate that interviews everybody, CNBC, and then we've got Brian Armstrong from Coinbase and BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, the largest money maker in the money manager and probably money maker in the entire world. It's sort of like you've got two UFC fighters sitting down next to each other that usually fight, and now they're friends again. It's like a press conference, basically. These two you would never expect, unlikely of friends. It's like the bloody... what's one of the turtle and the hare, like the lion and the gazelle made friends with each other. Which one's the lion? Up to you. But there we go. Let's watch it. Pretty interesting.
Called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock
and thieves.
Yes. Money laundering and thieves.
Right.
You now have the biggest Bitcoin ETF. So what happened here?
I have very strong views, but that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. By having strong views, you have to test yourself and ask yourself. And in my role, I see thousands of clients a year. I have governmental leaders, and we have these conversations, and my thought process always evolves. And this is a very glaring public example of a big shift in my opinion.
So at the end of the day, what are they? BlackRock are a big middleman that take advantage of the situation. A large middleman, pretty much what the government in a way, very similar, where they middleman our tax money and allocate it into certain areas where they think, and then they completely take advantage of the situation. So that's what BlackRock do, and they're going to go and they're going to fold and bend to see where the demand is and where the people want their money to be placed. Obviously, there's a large demand for Bitcoin and crypto in general, and a large allocation of everybody's portfolio inevitably moving towards this space. So they've come around, and get used to that sort of shit. Here's another one. Who loves Ripple? Gale Garlinghouse, old trickle sell his XRP Garlinghouse, I think they call him. Yeah, let's see what he says.
I'll go out on the limb and I'll say Bitcoin 180,000 December 23rd or December 31st, 2026.
All right, where's the prediction market around that now? It'll be live in 2 seconds.
I'll go out on the limb and I'll say Bitcoin 180,000 December 23rd or December 31st, 2026.
All right, where's the prediction market around that now?
All right, so pretty conservative, if you ask me. It's 180,000, so that's pretty much, what is that, another 50% higher than the current all-time high. December 31st, 2026, so what's that, 13 months away. So come on, Garlinghouse, put a bit of fire under your ass. Luckily no one asked him the XRP price prediction, huh? This is just something that you all already know, right? But Bitcoin money supply, it's almost inflation proof, but I know out of the two where I would rather park my coin if I had the choice, and I do. Let's have a laugh with Kramer. Spoiler alert, Saylor will fight the shorts. This guy's obsessed with Michael Saylor, and I know a few people that probably are also obsessed with Michael Saylor because, yeah, he is one of the main characters of this whole 4-year market cycle. And what happens to main characters is they usually live by the sword and die by the sword. He hasn't yet, but if he's anything, if Jim Cramer keeps talking about how good he is, maybe that moment's going to come up a bit sooner than expected.
I would say that this man is not to be trifled with. Saylor will come on Squawk. He'll come on everywhere. He'll come on every show. It wouldn't shock me. He pops up at the White House for all I know. He will do whatever's necessary. He is the Malcolm X of Bitcoin, okay? Malcolm X, right? Yes. By any means necessary, he will defeat.
All right, somehow that got mixed in with it. We watched that yesterday, but same. Sailors somehow I don't see. It's very hard.
People it could definitely go to zero to try and be conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it. 300 million.
Don't worry about it. Hang on.
I used to.
You bet your life it's not going to zero?
I used to tell people it could definitely go to zero to try and be, conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it. 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. Like it really has reached escape velocity.
But you're 745,000. I mean, I heard 13 million from Michael Saylor the other day.
I think it can go. It's going up 3 orders of magnitude since we launched our fund. I think it could go up a fourth, and that puts it at 15 trillion market cap, which it still seems relatively small versus 500 trillion of financial assets. That's doable.
Love me a good price prediction. That's 745,000 from the Pantera Capital CEO billionaire. And if you may or may not have noticed, he said he doesn't think that it's going to zero anymore. So what does that mean? That means it's either going to, million, 2 million, 10 million, or well, what other options has it got? Bitcoin's either going to zero, something's going to happen, or everyone's going to lose faith in it. It's not going to work anymore. It's just going to drop and go very close to zero at least, or it's going big. And there's just another person that thinks zero is not an option. So what's the other option? Anyone follow Trader Main? So he's all right. He goes all right. While I was early on the bottom call, things are finally starting to look constructive again. Glad I didn't puke into the lows. You remember we were buying heavily in the low 80Ks, just deployed max capital. I don't have that much spare coin at the moment. It just fucking... Yeah, Maxo, Ejecto. Things look much better back above there. I still think the odds of being a lower high are around 70-80%. Pulled the number out of my ass, so he thinks it's going to come back up probably over 106K, take out some of that liquidity there by the looks of it. So he reckons maybe lower high at 107. That's what he's saying. There's still outside shot at new all-time highs if we rip out of this zone aggressively, but no sense getting ahead of ourselves. Sentiment is still pretty flawed, but with Q2 ending, Vanguard news, and reclaim big level like 100K, maybe that's the juice needed for a squeeze higher. My base case remains bearish 2026, but as always, I'll adjust. So, it's sort of the chicken and the egg sort of deal at the moment, right? So if we go, let's just zoom out real quick onto Bitcoin. We'll just skip ahead of ourselves just for... Okay, this is obviously, like I've talked about many times, the chart that I trade actually put in work. But if you can see here, let's just zoom out to the weekly chart. Okay, one candle equals 1 week. I'm actually going to flip to a different one, a bit cleaner. All right, here we go. Okay, 1 week, one candle equals 1 week. What are you seeing here? You're seeing a low, you're seeing a high, you're seeing a higher low, you're seeing a higher high, you're seeing potentially a higher low. Like, imagine if this just goes up here and you'll just be like, oh yeah, wow. Yeah, it was just a fucking easy as channel that's been going for 2 years. Why did I think that it was going to be any different? Because right now the low at 75 is nowhere near being hit. The lowest it got to is 81. All right, so it's that whole, okay, are you going to take the side of the long-term trend, the high time frame trend, which is up, and assume that a higher low is going to be put in? Or are you going to get caught up in the shorter term trade, assume that a lower high is getting put in, and then it's going to break a higher, massive time frame channel? So, me, I always take preference over the higher time frame channels because as you've been following, I've been bullish for years basically. So, and that's just continuously done us well because like this high, low, like look at this, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive higher highs on the weekly chart. Hasn't faltered basically. I mean, you can get caught up in the weeds, but all we need to do is zoom out to 2 week. So, I'm not going to once a lower high is confirmed, which will happen if it's going lower. Once the lower high is confirmed, and what will that look like? That will look like price coming up to here, and then there'll be a range up here that'll go for at least a week, and then there'll be a wick that's like this, and then there'll be a lower high, and then there'll be breakdown, and there'll be big candle closes below that range. I say, okay, all right, where are we going? We're going into the 70s. But until then, man, I'm just like, okay, here we go, back up, bare minimum 95. See how we go. Take it step by step. That's my attitude towards it. I'm just not getting too far ahead of the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is high time frame, potential higher, low, and moving on. All right, so you want a big. If you want my short-term frame, my short time frame opinion is that it's going to continue the higher time frame trend. I think that's the most reasonable thing to think, in my opinion. All right, so here's a very interesting bit of philosophical information. We're right 50.75% of the time, but we're 100% right 50.75% of the time. You can make billions that way. All right, so what's he saying there? He's saying that when they're right, they're not always right, and it's the best loser. Best loser wins. That's trading and investing. The best loser wins. Protects your capital, all that sort of shit that we're all still constantly learning. But when he's right, he's 100% right. So they're very good at max extract. They're recognizing that they're right and turning it into something that just couldn't have been better. You don't need to be right all the time. That's ego. That's unnecessary. Okay, so here's a little bit of put your hand up if you're a renter. Do not buy a house unless you're a billionaire. Here's a bit of renter hopium. Rent for now. Wait for a 2008 type market crash to buy your first house. You'll thank me later. I don't know if it'll happen anymore. It's very hard to imagine, but they were thinking that back then in 2006. Or apparently, I can't really remember. I was in school, but 2025 bubble. Clearly, inflation-adjusted home prices. This is in America, but it's basically globally. I mean, Australia is way worse. So, but you can see here, if you're just looking at a standard chart perspective, it is just a chart. It's just a trend. So whatever may happen, whether it's some sort of global catastrophe, fingers crossed it's not, wouldn't be surprised if there was, in hindsight. All right, let's see what this dude's saying.
Here, I'm on the other side of where you are. I think I just heard you say, and I need to. Well, look, here, I'm on the other side of where you are. I think I just heard you say, and I need to confirm this, that liquidity is getting tighter. Because the opposite is what I see, both with quantitative tightening coming to an end and the shutdown.
I'm not talking about monetary liquidity. I'm talking about the liquidity in the market itself.
They're the same. They're the same.
You see what's going on in crypto? You see what's going on with SoftBank?
Okay, so crypto is the aberration to what I'm saying. Liquidity, let me just start with this. Liquidity
has an effect on the market.
Liquidity has come back to the market, all right? We had the shutdown end. Treasury is putting money into people's bank accounts again. We had quantitative tightening end yesterday. Liquidity is picking up. Your point about crypto is well made. Yesterday was an aberration. And you see crypto is up today. That's what it should be doing in response to both increasing liquidity and an increasing risk on sentiment.
Next 3 weeks.
You're looking for X account. I said whatever. What it's an aberration. That's all. If you're looking for X accounts to follow. Kingfisher, good one. They give out a lot of good free content. It's relatively Xy to be a part of them, but look, long, short liquidations, distribution. Watch ADA, Cardano, watch out. ETH rune holders, a lot of long positions could get liquidated if prices drop. ETH at 90%. Look at this. Where is it? Whoa, that's, heavily long. ETH's running hot. Runes getting short squeezed like crazy. They're not 100% accurate. That wouldn't be true. But yeah, just keep an eye on, we'll look at it in a second, but just keep an eye on these altcoins as they're running up. Flash crashes, great entries. That's what we'll be talking about shortly. Have you considered that a Bitcoin top occurred when the President of the United States and the First Lady launched meme coins? If so, we're in an 11-month bear market, still down minus 44% from all-time high measured in gold. Previous Bitcoin bear markets bottomed after 12 months. Okay, yeah, didn't consider it. Thanks, I will. But yeah, that could have been a top in the altcoin market especially. So they dumped the market, then Charles Schwab, Vanguard, and Bank of America all roll out crypto to their clients in the same week. So that's what's happened. We talked about that yesterday. So they're all just rolling out crypto products for all their clients right at a time where entries are good, and anybody buying at the moment could potentially be, they're not buying the top, we're 30% down or whatever, so could be a good time, could be easy money for the clients. It makes them look good, right? All right, let's talk charts. Thank fuck. Here we are. So I've got the top 100 over here in a watch list. Let's move it by change in the last 24 hours. I mean, it'll only be the last 1 hour because of the time frame. It's all just closed, daily closed. We're going to zoom into the 12-hour chart, and we're going to start looking at some shit coins. Okay, so there's two things that you sort of want to look for now. Three things. You want to look for laggers. You want to look for things that are overly shorted, can have good short squeezes, and you want to look for strength and cockroach altcoins. All right, so things that are overly shorted and lagging, potentially. I'm not saying Fartcoin. ZEC. I would long it for sure if it got down to 266, but this might just be like a dirty old knot bottom. It's definitely trying. I'd love to see, where are we? Hype. That looks good too. See, I'm looking at this for the first time with you right now, right? So we're just having a little look together at some of these altcoins. Everything's trying to put double bottoms in. Okay, this is a range, so it's clearly ranging. You can see as you zoom in, hour chart, one candle equals 1 hour. Where are we? Boots. That's obviously a range. You can just drag it across here. It'll pick up 90% of all price action within that. This was a dirty little double bottom. What we want to see here is good entries. You might not get them. It depends on how bullish the market is. Obviously, you're just sort of chasing it up at the moment. I was chasing some better entries, hoping for something. I've got alerts down here. Not getting them. Obviously, you can see the stochastics just ripping up higher. So quite bullish. These are times for high leverage longs if you're trying to just chase a move up in and outs, because it's not going to be a great entry. It's not going to be one of those like week long sort of longs if you're entering something like that. This could be a range that's happening right now. If we zoom in again, 15-minute chart. You'd sort of hope so. If you're looking for an entry on a coin like this, you start pulling it in like that. You can see there the price action. So this is where you want to put an entry at. My alert will go off on the stochastics easily when the momentum's down, and I'll see. But this is the sort of entry that you want to see if you want to gift and to try and continue the long. There's no point when it's somewhat ranging. How do I know it's ranging? Well, you can see that there's a trending channel right there. You just drag it up. Look at that. It all fits within that parallel channel. broke out, put in a couple of lows, a couple of matching highs, so it's starting to range to the side now. What else are we looking at? We're looking at ZEC. You know, this is not too bad for a long. You can see the market structure is clearly changing. This is a 15-minute chart, so you can see things are changing here. Not too bad. Higher highs, higher lows. ZEC. I would like to see the funding rates. Ooh, mixed bag on. Look at all that red. Oh, so much shorting went on in Bitcoin on the bottom. That's so good to see. I'm going to look at hype. I'm just looking at hype because I am watching hype a lot. I think it's a good buy. Funding rates. Green trending up. Along with price. And ZEC, we're looking at ZEC as well. So what I'm seeing here is, you know, everyone's in tandem basically. The leverages are longing, the spots are longing, everyone's sort of longing. It's just max longs starting to happen. You can see, look, I've got a chart here, I made it up myself. So you've got an uptrending asset, you can see it's uptrending now. An uptrending asset, price going up. Green funding rate going up. Bullish if trending up below 0.01. It's not abnormally high and it's below 0.01. See, 0.0061. So bullish there on that. Where's ZEC? Funding rate. Is it still getting shorted? Ooh, a little bit. Oh my god, man! It's going to be so. What I'm, wow. So I'll bring it over here for you, because you probably want to have a little look at that. What you just saw just then. So what are we seeing here? So it's green trending down, price trending up. It's now an uptrending asset. It's a tough one. It's a bit between the lines there, but we'll just say uptrending asset, green going up. No, green going down, sorry. So green, uptrending asset, price going up, green funding rate going down. Bullish, spot is strong, pulling away from leverage longness. So spot's pushing the price up, and leverage long is starting to fade off. Trying to short it, so Zcash for the long. I might chuck one of those on. Yeah, because it's either the bottom's either here or it's down at 266. So you can run the pipes. Liquidity's momentum's turning up a little bit right here, so not too bad. I mean, you know, obviously there's far better entries. 5-minute chart, usually get 2 entries a day, sometimes more, or a lot. Actually, sorry, you get a fuckload. I'll see you the 15-minute chart, usually get 2 entries a day. One would have been basically just there, just looking for potential entry on ZEC. I'll get an alert here for when we pull back down. Something maybe along there. Thinking low 340s if this isn't the breakout. So we're just praying for a pullback, a higher low, and then we'll probably enter a long on that. Another one I'm looking at is Pump Fun. Pump Fun and Hype, I'm just looking at a couple of sort of cockroach coins. This is good. Oh, that's bullish as. Head fake, busting out, busting up. Can't get too greedy here. I think I'm going to long. Yeah, I'm going to long this for for a higher run up on Pump Fun here. So let's have a little look closer. Where are we? Oh, look at that. Yep, that's entry time. Yep, that's entry time. All right, I'm going to go post this in the. I'll enter a Pump Fun long. Where are we looking for stops? Yeah. Just having it, sussing out where we're looking here. So All right, just looking for stops. Let the stop decide our leverage. Have a little look at this, post it. Hey, cheers. Talk soon. Have a great day.